Welcome back to the Nordic Championship where Celestial Gaming are duking it out versus Fortress from Denmark. And the way they duked it out in game one is making my hype levels rise so much now for game two.
For sure. I mean, I've been hyping up the Danish teams. I think both of them are looking really strong individually. They're probably going to be the two strongest teams in the tournament, or two of the strongest teams. And now Celestial Gaming have been taking games, both of them, and they are the second seed coming out of Norway. And we've also got some really good Swedish teams in the tourney as well. Not to mention the Finns and the Icelandic team. So there are so many.
Well, I just want to mention that Celestial Gaming think that they are the #1 seed coming out of Norway, because they mentioned earlier that they were actually the #1 seed at first, and then something happened. They had to play like a tiebreaker, and they ended up losing that tiebreaker 2-1. So actually, Celestial Gaming, they think that they are the strongest team coming out of Norway. And looking at this game, it's hard to argue if they can play at this level consistently.
I think saying that, Celestial Gaming is saying that we think we are the #1 team in Norway is like you saying that you think you are the pretty one of us.
Well, so it's true, you mean?
No, it's just something that...
All right, so we're in Champion Select, and Yasuo has been banned, and Ezreal as well will be off the table, as Jensen didn't quite pop off on his Ezreal. Also, Jace will not be something that Kuhlberg is allowed to play, which I completely agree with, because Kuhlberg really showed how you put that pressure to good use.
Yeah, I think Ezreal was a bit of a weird pick when it comes to putting so much pressure on the bottom lane, because that's what Cesar's big focus: gank the bottom lane over and over. But then you've got the Ezreal together with the Braum, I believe, was the duel in the matchup
Yeah,
there, and you weren't able to make really a lot of things happen with that bottom lane pressure that went down. So I don't think you'd be sad at all if you pick a more early game focused AD carry, perhaps like the Lucian, which is still open, or even the Draven if you're feeling frisky.
Absolutely, and look at this now. LeBlanc has been banned, Jace has been banned. This is not something that Celestial Gaming is allowed to play again. And the Lucian as well, so sort of intercepting that, knowing that Lucian is such a strong bot lane. I do not want Jensen to go with that, with all the pressure that Cesar puts on the bot lane. Instead, it's the Karthus, probably jungle, as Karthus is mainly played in jungle nowadays, with the Urgot and the Lee Sin pickup for Celestial Gaming.
Oh, I would love to see Fortress go for a Sylas pick here. Sylas, please. It's pretty decent matchup into the Urgot where you can farm and scale up, and stealing that Urgot ultimate can be very impactful. It's a very strong pick overall. Can be flexed top or mid lane. Would love to see a Sylas here.
Sylas is an interesting champion because, as we talked about, long time ago it feels like now, but at the beginning of this evening, he was so weak when he was first released, but also a lot of people argue that a lot of champions are weak because you just don't know how to play them. Now Sylas stealing ultimates is such a strong ability, but still the same problem remains, that he has this long cooldown after he steals it from a champion. So versus the Urgot, you need him to kind of roam, be able to steal it from other champions as well after that. But no Sylas right now. Instead, it's the Caitlyn and the Thresh for PlayStation, who I think probably enjoys playing this champion.
I think with the name, that's probably a given right there, and it's going to be Zoe for Sandia. This is going to be interesting, not with a big sort of a poke comp that I like to see together with the Zoe, but more building more towards a pick comp here. Perhaps you also have a lot of early game pressure around the mid lane with the Zoe and the Lee Sin. Can almost force the enemy mid laner to go for a cleanse right now, because you need to be able to get away from that sleepy trouble bubble. Not only will that damage be followed up with a paddle star, but perhaps also with Dipsy on the Lee Sin, so you need a strong defensive mid laner. Speaking of defensive mid laners, though, Lissandra is still open, and it would be a strong matchup into this Zoe just being able to wave clear and then stay safe from the gank, so would not be surprised to see a Lissandra ban here from Celestial Gaming.
Absolutely. With Fortress target banning so many champions right now, there are a lot of strong champions up for grabs. And also want to mention that Zoe's champion that you've been talking about a lot tonight, being one of those really strong mid laners in this current patch. So I'm happy to see that in the hands of Celestial Gaming and Zandia, who really liked to go very aggressive on his LeBlanc last game. You can see him hiding out in the fog of war almost any time that he could find. Now for the final ban for Celestial Gaming, it is the Kassadin, and Fortress still has one ban to go.
Yeah, looks like you're targeting the support position here. Could go for something like a Tom Kench or a Braum here, perhaps, trying to get those defensive supports away from Eski so you're not able to deny the hooks coming out from PlayStation, so that you can play with a lot of aggression towards that bottom side, and still bends away the Sivir, whose Spell Shield can do quite some work both against the Thresh and the Caitlyn traps, as well as the Requiem, so that is definitely a strong choice. And I would not be too excited to see a Tristana here, because you really want to be playing with something with more early game pressure here if you're Ambivert, in my opinion. Something that can shove the wave and can contest Caitlyn early on.
Absolutely. Also, Tristana into the Thresh and the way that a Rocket Jump interacts with the Flay is something that can be very scary to try to get away from. Instead, it's the Kai'Sa, a champion we've seen a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to see the Lissandra here, as I mentioned, and then you are, I'd say you're probably too AP heavy to also pick the Sylas, who I mentioned earlier on. Also not the most impactful ultimates on the likes of Zoe and Kai'Sa to steal away, so would be happy just to see the Lissandra here, but they're going to be going for the Orianna instead, so a lot of team fight focus, and they need some engage here from Lineups in the top lane, something that can start these fights to then have all the AoE magic damage follow-up of the Karthus and the Orianna.
Absolutely, and here comes the Jarvan ball delivery system that works definitely well together with the Orianna, but I am surprised to see that Niter decides to go for the Victor, goes for the Orianna, as they have talked about his strong Yasuo mechanics, and Yasuo is a very mechanically heavy champion, while Orianna is the control mage instead, so as Yasuo is banned, I was still expecting Niter to go for, like, the assassin type of champions and try to force the Zoe away. Instead, now it's on the Orianna together with the Jarvan to make sure that he can deliver his damage properly.
Yeah, Nida's been hyped up by his teammates as a strong mechanical player in his team, so I have to agree, a bit surprised to see two control mages twice in a row here up against the Assassins of Sandia. Against Zoe, there are definitely picks that are aggressive, which you can go for. Still, there is an Alistar getting locked in to round out the team comps for Celestial Gaming, so a lot of early game pressure, actually for both teams, but sort of on different sides of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alistar and Kai'Sa being a very strong lane together. But again, we're talking about Kai'Sa and Alistar not very strong in the early stages. Need to scale up a little bit with level for Alistar, with items for Kai'Sa. But the Lee Sin pressure together with the Urgot as well versus this Karthus. The Karthus jungle is something that we've seen earlier tonight. And it's something that can be so strong if you're allowed to free farm. But if not, it's also really easy to invade.
Yeah, for sure. Dipsy could look towards Cesar to win out in the early game jungling duels here. The question you have to ask yourself then, do you have lane prior? Where do you have lane priority? I don't think you will have it in the mid lane. It's going to be sort of an even matchup. I'm not sure you'd have a top lane with Urgot versus Jarvan, and I'm sure that you won't have it in the bottom lane. So yes, you could be able to find some sort of invades on the top side of the map, but other than that, Dipsy don't have that much freedom on this Lee Sin early on to make things happen. I do think he has good gank setup in the mid lane, though, even though there's a cleanse on Niter, if you're able to get that away and then land a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, that should be a free kill in the mid lane. So Dipsy, for sure, you've got the potential to make things happen, but it's not like you can just walk into Fortress's jungle and try to find out Cesar.
Absolutely. And also Jarvan top lane, something that we haven't talked too much about into the Urgot. Urgot has really established himself as being one of those harassing, really annoying top laners to play against, especially if you try to go for a tank, as his ultimate simply eats you up and chews you into tiny little pieces that scares your opponents away. But for this one, Jarvan into Urgot, it's going to be an interesting matchup to watch.
Yeah, that is some of the engage which I talked about in this Jarvan, so it's not like they just, like last game when they had the Sign and the Sejuani, where they can just click R twice and then have a free engage. It's a bit more skillful here to find an engage with the Jarvan and the Thresh, but you can definitely do so with the Orianna ball on top of either of them. That's the way to start out the fight. And in these sort of mid-game fights, when you've got level 11 and double Magic Pen on this Karthus, once you've got Caitlyn on her way to 2 items, maybe Infinity Edge plus a Seal. That's really a strong point for this team. 2 items on Jarvan, like 1.5 to 2 items on Jarvan as well. Those sort of mid-game team fights is where I'm looking for Fortress to force these 5v5 engagement. Before that, though, the ball is going to be a lot in the Celestials' side of the field, because they have the playmakers in Dipsy and Sandia early on.
Absolutely. And asking now on the Alistar versus the Thresh, as PlayStation probably wanted to show off this champion, as I'm just assuming, according to his name, that he likes to play Thresh. Honestly, I have no idea. I am just guessing right now.
That's what we do here on the caster desk. We make some guesses, hopefully more educated than non-educated.
That was well put. That was
Thank you.
very well put. It's late. I know it's a late night. But still, now Fortress versus Celestial Gaming. Celestial Gaming, like I said before, I really like the way they play as a team. They don't have the Thresh this time around, and honestly, Eski on his Thresh with the correct death sentences, with all of the playmaking that he had with his Lantern as well. He was really impressive, I think. This time around on the Alistar, I'm looking forward to see some good flash combos coming out of him.
Cesar is walking over a ward right now on the Karthus. Dipsy is not in position to really punish this Karthus, but still finding out exactly where he is gives Dipsy a lot of information when it comes to him deciding for his next path. Where is he gonna go? Is he gonna go invade the bottom side of the map? Not so sure that you're actually going to be able to, because Jensen and PlayStation on this Thresh Caitlyn duo have so much pressure, and Dipsy gets spotted out on a ward, so both teams kind of know where the opposing junglers are.
Absolutely. Dipsy, I think, just spotted that ward timeout, so he knows that he has been seen. He's going to just finish off that Rift Scuttler. And as you mentioned, this bot lane now, they know Dipsy is there, playing very carefully now, and Dipsy going in for the red buff. We'll find Cesar in here, as Cesar going for the Raptors instead. Both seem to be happy right now, just trading camps.
This could be a duel, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cesar moving closer. Oh, the reset! That is actually quite big. The reset allows Dipsy to get the red buff and get away, and now going in for the invade. And this should be a flash right now. A good follow-up there, flashing into...
Here comes the bot lanes.
Yeah. Jungle camp now will be able to keep Cesar alive for now. Still playing aggressively.
Oh, Dipsy might be caught in a rough spot right now.
Yeah, but there's no real damage coming out right now from Fortress, so Dipsy doesn't really care too much about finding Orianna in that position, and he's actually sticking around, going in even deeper yet again. Will he be able to get away with this? Oh! It's not going to hit it, but the flash forward that I asked for, flash pulverize combo, picking up the first blood for Celestial Gaming, sticking with the aggressive play style that worked so well for them in game one.
And you talked about the jungle matchup, Lee Sin wanting to punish Karthus early on, and that's exactly what we were mentioning. Nighty here without mana might be caught out by Dipsy if he wants to go the long way around and try to force a 1v1 here. Does the Q connect?
Not sure. Dipsy's working with all of this without any vision. Still chasing it, but not going to be able to find that much to do versus Niter. But still so important for Dipsy to get that first blood, getting the double buff refresh together, of course, with just denying that from Cesar.
Yeah, absolutely, and putting this Karthus behind early on is of course hugely important for the Lee Sin. Also being able to do it on sort of his weak side on the map is really a show of strength right now. Being able to have a bottom lane that is more of the scaling variant and still putting pressure on the enemy bottom side.
Sandia was spotted on a ward right now, but a good engage. Death sentence is going to land.
Into the trap.
Not onto the trap right now, just now landing on the trap. Sandia picking up PlayStation and making sure that Genser can't chase down Ambivert. And another huge play by CG.
They are just being able to make things happen across the board right now. And last game they were able to do so as well, but then they had the team comp that really needed to snowball. Now you've got a team comp that scales quite well. You don't really need to snowball this game hugely this early on, but they're still able to do so. I am impressed by Celestial once more.
Lineups in this fight versus Kulberg, and Kulberg looking quite happy with that trade versus the Jarvan. He needs to avoid the flag and drag combo. Looks like he's quite happy in this lane, was even avoiding the gank attempt by Cesar earlier.
Yeah, after level 6, this is going to be a good lane for Fortress to look to gank, as Cataclysm can basically guarantee you at least burn the flash of Kulberg. But as it looks right now, just a free farming top lane, that is fine for them. Lineups would love to get some roams down on this Jarvan, just push out the wave, and then able to do something with the gank pressure that he gets with that Cataclysm, but as it looks, Coolberg is just pushing in 24/7.
Eski also with mobility boots as the first item. And I just wanted to mention, like, his roams have been on point for both game 1 and 2. Like, he has been everywhere, making sure that Dipsy can do whatever he wants. In the mid lane, a little bit of a fight there. Secret Bubble Drop not going to hit anything, but another roam now by Eski. But the Sonic Wave not going to connect, which means that Niter actually gets away in a 1 versus 3 situation, although he is falling behind quite heavily now on CES, and Cesar can't really do anything about this.
Yeah, Cesar is taking so much pressure on this Karthus early on. Also, burning both summoners onto Niter is hugely important. As I mentioned, this makes return gank so easy for Dipsy. As soon as a Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands, that is going to be Niter going down on this immobile Orianna. And this is why I wanted to see them pick the Lissandra, or at least some sort of mid laner that has more defensive utility against this duo lane of Zoe and Lee Sin, because they have so much early pressure. And Orianna, sure, she has the shield, but other than that, she's immobile. She can easily get ganked early, so yeah, Niter has to convince me yet on this pick.
Absolutely, and now Cloud Dragon is going to be picked up by Eski and Dipsy. That means even more potential roams from Eski. As look at his mobility right now. He can move so quickly between bot lane and mid lane, and Niter, without any summoner spells, playing so far back, can't even help as Cesar tries to arrive and help him in the mid lane. And Cesar just losing more than half of his HP as to run away, although this time I think Sonya has bitten off more than he can chew. That is the quick pick up as the roam from top lane proves to be deadly for Sonya.
And I talked about how easy Special Gaming can make this happen. Oh, as Niter goes down without summoners.
Yeah, Niter, no summoners. Trying to shove out that way did not work out. Down the bot lane as well as Ambyware taking some auto attacks, but not enough to kill him as Jenser didn't have his heal just yet, could not save PlayStation.
Yeah, he did pick up level. Oh, flashing H!
Oh, this should be it, shouldn't it? No,
Ulti?
actually.
Ulti?
No ulti?
He's gonna ulti, he's gonna ulti.
No, really
Is he
not? That was
I would have ulti.
weird. Yeah, like I was expecting the ulti through all of that. I'm like, really? It's the R button.
Yeah, you wanna press it.
Yeah, all right, well. Instead, now Coolberg is going to 1v1 up top lane instead versus Lineups. As Coolberg on this Urgot, making it look easy to first duel the enemy jungler and then come up top lane and do the same to your lane matchup.
Yeah, for sure, and Sonya...
Oh, that's a really good Sleepy Bubble Trouble. Sleepy Trouble Bubble?
Sleepy Trouble Bubble, I believe.
Yeah.
Flash for PlayStation, so can't go for the play.
No, so PlayStation is trying to keep up with Eski's movements, but Eski just has too much mobility with the extra mobility boots and the Cloud Dragon. He's been around, I keep saying it, he's been everywhere. Now almost finds PlayStation, doesn't really dare to venture into the fog of war without any vision. And Cesar on his Karthus still has not used his Requiem. Not been able to find anything on this Karthus, but not too far behind either.
Yeah, able to keep up on CS with the dips. You do expect the Karthus to get a bit of a farm lead as long as both of them are just farming in their own jungle though, so still level 7 versus level 7. It's not like they have to make anything happen at this point, but Lineups with that Cataclysm up again and Coolberg without a flash. So if I am the jungler of Fortress, I'm looking for Jarvan ulti to get used on someone without a flash or without a way to get out of it, so I don't think some top lane pressure going down for Fortress right now would be a bad idea at all.
Dipsy in mid lane again, it finds the ultimate under the turret, but not connecting with the Sonic Wave. Cataclysm is going to finish the job, and Requiem as well will be used to make sure that is 2 quick pickups for Fortress. So Fortress really happy with that exchange.
And that is a rare slip-up from Celestial Gaming. They've been playing so well, but that was quite a big mistake. Dipsy and Sonya goes for a very aggressive dive in the mid lane when Coolberg had just recalled on the Urgot. So they knew that Fortress had 3 members out on the top side of the map, but they only had 2 because that Urgot was in base. And they were just not respecting Fortress as they should have been. Gets punished for it, and this game is now almost neck and neck.
These are some of the kind of mechanical plays that worries me when Celestial Gaming try to execute, because that could have worked if they managed to just quickly pick it up and then run away without losing too much HP, but instead they both jump straight into the shockwave and are just decimated under the turret even before Niter's team arrives. So I want them to avoid that kind of play, but I think like in theory that could have worked. I just don't know. I felt like when Dipsy didn't hit his Sonic Wave, they should have just aborted immediately.
Yeah, for sure, not working out at all. Next Dragon here is going to be Infernal, as you can see, with two teams that would really enjoy an Infernal. At least 3 members on each team that are going to be building quite a bit of AD or AP. So I'm expecting a fight over that. And with Requiem soon coming up from Cesar once more, I think Fortress could try to take a fight around the Dragon should they want to.
Oh! Forward, but a good sidestep by Dipsy is going to avoid a certain death. PlayStation, so far not quite living up to his name. He's down 0-0 down in the bot lane. Struggling a little bit, but at least in that situation with Niter forcing Dipsy away, makes sure that they can control the Dragon area just a little bit easier for now. Flash forward now and a good flash reaction, but here comes Eski again, chasing it under the turret, and Zandia with the flash forward, avoiding the shockwave. But is he going to die to the turret? Yes, he is, and Zandia and turrets are not friends.
Yeah, name a more iconic duo this series. Zandia's been having a rough time with those towers, first dying a lot to them on LeBlanc and now flashing into them on the Zoe.
And with that misstep, that is the Infernal Dragon that they wanted going into enemy hands.
Yeah, not great at all for Celestial Gaming. Also, Jarvan being able to use the TP towards the top lane means he won't fall further behind on the farm. Overall, some good turn of events from Fortress. They are still behind, but not by much.
Oh, Death Sentence just barely avoided. But yeah, that was a very important Dragon. And Celestial Gaming, I'm not quite sure. They're not looking as confident this game as they did in Game 1.
Have to say, I do like the build from Ambivert here, though. Earlier on, we gave the Kai'Sa criticism for going into sort of the on-hit build. Oh, speaking of Kai'Sa.
Oh, this could speak trouble right now. Ambivert using his ultimate defensively, flashing away even to make sure that he doesn't die to Requiem or the ultimate from the Caitlyn. But I think that is still going to be a quick pick up on Eski, as he's used so much gold and so much time to just roam on this map, and in the straight 2v2, he fell short. And these are quick pickups yet again now for Fortress, although Niter died in mid lane while the fight bot lane happened.
The wave clear from Karthus, though, means that mid lane tower is still going to stand, while bottom lane tower goes down in favor of Fortress, so this might even result in a gold lead, or I mean, reducing the gold deficit at least so far.
Almost a gold lead.
Almost a gold lead.
Almost the first time Fortress has a gold lead in this series versus Celestial Gaming, but still, very important. Celestial Gaming right now, they don't play according to their plan. And they're putting so much focus down in the mid lane, and Zandia is like making these small mistakes that doesn't really give them the advantage they need to, like, I don't know, to give them what they want for all of the time that they spend in the mid lane.
We're able to take down the tower eventually, though, which is going to be giving them a lot of not only gold, but also just pressure all around the map, with Eski been doing such a good job roaming on this mobility boots Alistar build. I think this is going to be a big point for them if they're able to make more of these sort of picks happen around the mid lane, because they've got some nice makings of a pick comp with like the Zoe, Lee Sin, Alistar sort of. If someone oversteps from Team Fortress, don't have the tower to fall back on, and they step into a Zoe bubble, that could be the end of them, and that could mean that Celestial Gaming can group up, take objectives, and snowball this lead further.
Absolutely. Dipsy, though, on his Lee Sin, he did so well in the early stages, but right now he's sort of falling behind a little bit versus Zesser, who can simply just power farm his jungle and have this huge pressure everywhere. Looking at this again, Jensen now with a well-executed combo. Finds another pick. This time it's Zandia going down as his fourth death this game.
And Dips is going to be looking for a tower dive onto Niter. It's almost like I've seen this before.
Yeah, I think we have seen this before, actually. I think he was spotted there. I'm not sure if Niter knows how close to death he is right now.
Looks like he knows.
Yeah, he knows. He knows he's going to avoid most of that. Down bot lane, another fight. Urgot versus Jarvan. Turret going down top lane now, so that is a very good pickup. Heal being used.
Oh,
Death Sentence hits mid-air, and Dipsy has to flash away to survive it. Still wants to chase it down just a little bit, though. Not quite finished. Here's Kuhlberg again versus Zesser. Zesser manages to avoid most of that damage, now turning around with the Requiem. And I think it looks like it's going to be, yeah, that's the final shutdown now. It's a 2 versus 1, proves to be too much for Kuhlberg to handle. Sonya down bot lane trying to find Cesar, find Sleepy Trouble Bubble instead onto another target, but can't get his cooldowns up in time to capitalize on that CC.
This is an explosive one, so many things happening across the map that it's almost hard to make sense of it all, but we can see Fortress making very good use of that Requiem as it gives you so much pressure, and now there is a gold lead for Cesar over Dipsy for, I believe, the first time of this game. He's 100 gold ahead right now from being able to contribute so much with that Requiem. And right now he's at the Karthus sweet spot. Sork Shoes, Oblivion Orb, and the Runic Echoes upgrade for your jungle item. Together with a level 11, this is where those Karthus ultimate starts to really lay down a lot of hurt. And I do like the Karthus together with the Caitlyn, because if someone's taken down to like half HP by poke, Ace in the hole plus Requiem means certain death for them.
Absolutely. I think that's like half HP on Ambivert and Zondia, which means that as soon as someone steps out of position, like right now, for example, as Eski has found Fortress out of position completely and decimating PlayStation, turning it around towards Rift Herald. They have 2 minutes to pick it up.
Yeah, that objective is going to be pretty big because sieging into the Orianna combo is not going to be too easy.
Instant flash now by Jensen as he was hit by the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Zondia still making this Zoe look good, even though he has died quite a bit. Zondia, I feel like, kind of overcommits a little bit from time to time, but still such a mechanical, strong player. Now proving it yet again, finding another pick in the mid lane. The reverse shutdown now, as Kuhlberg managed to shut down Lineups. Oh, they can mid lane. Yeah, that's a Rift Herald opportunity if I ever saw one. Lineups, though, has teleport.
Definitely after chunking them down, they are quite chunked themselves though, so backing up towards this dragon.
Ocean Dragon, no Infernal. For now, the only Infernal of the game has gone into the hand of Fortress. Crystal Gaming now starting to look a little bit more like themselves, and able to shake off the bad taste in the mouth from a few of those missteps they made earlier. And this is something I like also about this team, that I feel like they don't really let those little things get in the way. But Fortress putting up such a great fight, really turning this around right now. Although they're behind a little bit again in gold, they're making Celestial Gaming really bring out all the stops to be able to just get 1.5k ahead in this game.
Yeah, CGBNA really putting on so much pressure, especially with that Zoe in mid lane. Sandia's been able to really do so much with those Sleepy Trouble Bubbles, and even though he's died 4 times, I mean, he's not had the best performance, especially if you look at the entire series with the earlier LeBlanc game. But those Trouble Bubbles, every time they land, they really set up for a play in such a good way. You can see it's not like Celestial Gaming are just engaged and randomly, like Dips is just queuing in whenever he feels like it. No, it's always after one of those crucial skill shots. Often the Sleepy Trouble Bubble have landed.
And Zondia is really good at hitting those. Really showing why Zoe puts down so much pressure, even after all of those nerfs that champion has received. Up top lane though, is going to be another turret in the hands of Fortress. Death Sentence lands, but it's on an Alistar, so it's not that big of a trouble for them.
Jarvan
get away, but that is a good flank. Flash forward again. Death Sentence not going to hit Zondia, but they have to sacrifice their support as Eski is caught in the middle of all that. Teleport for a support. It might be another turret as well. Dipsy now moving forward, fighting it out. 1 versus 1. Requiem still up. Not going to be the final blow though, as Linop's managed to do that all on his own. Turret still standing up top lane.
Yeah, Kolberg did not have his TP right there, while Linux did have his, so being able to get in there with the Jarvan, not sure if they were able to grab enough though as power has not gone down.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but did not result into a kill. Zandia still looking for this though. Not finished. Standing on top of that ward is no.
Why did he walk on it?
I'm not sure, but Niger somehow, I don't know, maybe mistimes it, but he walks on the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Could this be? Yeah, this is going to be another pickup. Absolutely. Zandia does not hit his paddle star, doesn't even matter. And here Coolberg has arrived
this is
as
disaster.
well. Coolberg though, 1 versus 3. Can he hold on for long enough? And yes, he can with the ultimate, picking up Zesser. And this is Baron. This is an open Baron, 22 minutes in. They have the Kai'Sa, so they should be able to make quick work. And the Rift Herald in mid lane gonna put additional pressure.
Yeah, I don't even think that PlayStation and Linux can do too much to contest this Baron. Yeah, they're not even gonna be trying. Just try to kill the Rift Herald mid, push up the mid lane, and let Celestial Gaming take this Baron down. Linux, I don't think you can do anything by going close to here.
Yeah, avoiding Sleep above Trouble Bubble. Tries to at least get vision, wants to do something, maybe get a pick or anything, but instead he finds himself in a heap of trouble, manages to get out with the help of his friend. So that is the Baron to Celestial Gaming. 22 minutes into this game. What can they do now with this big purple worm?
They can do a lot. A lot of it depends on Zandia, whether he can land these skill shots, but from what we've been seeing so far, that is the big playmaking setup for him. But a 1.2k gold lead compared to Niter, and there are no QSSs, no Mercury threads on Fortress. The only way they have of getting away from one of those bubbles is the cleanse from Niter, and guess what? Even that's on cooldown, so as soon as a bubble land, that can be the hard engage from SK and Dipsy, and I think they're even ahead enough for them to be able to go for the tower dives with the Alistar ultimate, because it gives you so much resistance from those towers.
50 seconds to the Infernal Dragon. Celestial Gaming are eyeing it. And I'm not sure what Fortress can do. I mean, Fortress need to walk through all of this vision, having none on their own. And they have to avoid all of those Sleepy Trouble bubbles from Zandia.
I think you just let Celestial Gaming pick up this Infernal Dragon and try to find a pick somewhere. Speaking of picks, though, Dipsy looking for it.
Yeah, Dipsy has to flash out. Not quite sure why he did that. This is, I don't know, such a Dipsy move. It was almost a free dragon. All of a sudden, Dipsy is alone between all of Fortress and simply dies.
I think this is a great opportunity for Fortress to come back in this game if they can find a hard engage. I think they can just use the Jarvan EQR here at some point. Just use the ultimate, man. Try to find an engage.
Ambivert flashing out of the Cataclysm, still losing most of his HP, but oh, the turnaround of Zandia, Sleepy Trouble Bubble, and the Paddle Star just deals too much damage. Infernal Dragon, second one of this game to get into the hands of Fortress. A good body block there, but not quite sure if you want to be the one blocking that one. Zesser, and another Sleep Patrol bubble hits again. Zandia is on fire on his Zoe, making sure that if they want to have this Infernal Dragon, they will have to pay for it. Those are 3 kills, and they still have the Baron buff.
And as you say it, every kill is off the back of a bubble landing from Zandia. No Merc threads, no QSS, no Locket, no Mikkels, no way to get away from these bubbles, and he's just landing them over and over, being able to curve them around these walls to give them such long range. Zoe is such a strong champion at the moment. Zandia is showing it such a good way.
Curving shots, I've seen that movie, I didn't quite like it, but this time around, I mean, this sequel I quite enjoy, because Zandia is just making Zoe become a monster with all of these trouble bubbles hitting everything. And you can just tell that Fortress aren't quite enjoying it as much as we are right now. They are struggling to do anything, as soon as they walk next to a wall, all of a sudden there appears this huge bubble, and you know that you are going to die on top of it. Zandia even has gone for the Soul
Soul Stealer.
Soul Stealer, thank you!
Majais.
Majai Soul Stealer, I'm too excited to even talk! It's 10 stacks already on this item, and also looking for the Rabadon's Death Cap.
Yeah, he's just a full damage Zoe build right now, soon with a level 16. And I mean, I don't think Sandia have been playing too well in the first games that we saw him, but here he's been putting on a Zoe show for sure. It also helps that the entire enemy team is without any magic resistance whatsoever. That makes your job quite a bit easier on the Zoe.
And as you mentioned, there are no QSS. There are like a lot of squishy targets here, because no matter who you hit, that is going to be anything from 70% to 100% of the HP with the follow-up. So those are pretty good stats for Sandia to work with.
So thinking about Zoe, the poke, and the catches that comes out from her, you think like, okay, what can Fortress do against it? And finding some sort of a hard engage, especially now that Kulberg is off onto his side lane on his own, is one way of trying to come back. And if that's going to happen, it's going to be down to either PlayStation and Lineups, and both of them have flash at the moment.
Oh,
so
now jumping in, no ball resistance, and ball hits nothing but air! The Alistar gonna flash over the wall, avoiding this fight. Actually, no, turning it around. Looks like gonna get it with the teleport coming in. Requiem in the air. Will it kill anything? No, it will not. Dipsy, too much HP. And look at the HP bars of Fortress right now. Hiding under these turrets, although Zandia will finally go down. That's the shutdown. And the ultimate of Kulberg not going to hit anything. So Zandia doing a great job, and then being Zandia and sort of messing it up again.
Yeah, especially funny when you just pick up Magi Soul Stealer and then just run in and die and lose all your stacks. Bit sad for him right there, but still a good play from Fortress being able to make the engage happen.
Oh, a good flash. And another attempt by PlayStation to try to find something. Like, anytime he tries, the flashes are always off cooldown, because he's mainly the only one that can make those kind of CC plays. So if he doesn't hit it, no one is going to. Like, anytime he tries something with a death sentence, like, all summoner spells are always available. It must feel so bad for him anytime he tries to go for those flash plays.
Yeah, for sure, not living up to his name so far as this Thresh main that you'd expect PlayStation to be. Still, a Baron has spawned right now, and I know it's scary going into a Baron without vision, like face checking. That's really scary. Then try adding a fed Zoe on top of that with the bubbles and Paddle Stars always coming down. That's going to be so insanely scary for Fortress to just walk around this Baron, as if you position close to a wall at any point, there could be a bubble flying out, and if you get hit, you're just going to be straight up dead. So they need to be so careful around this Baron. Use that Orianna ball to get vision, use this Karthus Qs to get vision, because this Baron could decide the game.
Absolutely, and there is almost no vision right now for Fortress. And look at how scared they are. They see the Sleepy Trouble bubble coming out again, and immediately everyone just like tries to like scatter. Like, what are we gonna do? It's such a dangerous situation for them. Although Zandia has sold his Magi's, he's not going to have that anymore, as I think it was funny up till the point where he died under that turret, and then it was kind of useless. So now instead he's going for the Spellbinder. It's another Sleepy Trouble bubble. There are no bushes that are safe from Zandia.
Still have the hard engage in terms of the Thresh and the Jarvan, both with the ultimates available though, so if they're able to make some sort of a catch, that could be the way they win a fight right now. But Celestial Gaming are just kiting backwards, waiting for Dipsy to pick up this Infernal Dragon, and with the first Infernal on their roster, that is going to be very big for them. 10% AP and AD. At this point, 30 minutes into the game, that's when it really starts to become very useful.
Absolutely, and also with the changes to Dragon for this season, it's so important to just have that one. Like, it makes such a big difference. You just get
looking for
one.
the flank.
Oh, Dipsy, and he finds it! Getting an instant kill now on the Karthus, but Karthus still deals damage though, so it's going to take a little bit more than that to win this fight. Can they still do it though? They find Lineups as he tries to go into the solo backline. Kulberg does the same, but Kulberg makes it look cool as he picks off the carry for Fortress. This is an open inhibitor in the mid lane with all these long respawn timers. This could even be game. This is so dangerous now for Fortress.
There is no shockwave, there is no box, but PlayStation United will have to try and defend this 2 versus 5. Don't think they will be able to though.
Celestia Gaming, they know it. They go for it. They're going to finish this game. It's PlayStation trying his best to defend all of this, but the focus is on the Nexus. Celestia Gaming are going for it. This is going to be the 2-0 versus Denmark, and they get the vindication, taking this game and this series, which they couldn't take from the top seed from Denmark earlier tonight, but boy, must that feel good.
What a performance, especially in the first game. That was like a 10 out of 10 performance from, okay, maybe not 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 performance from Celestial. I was so impressed. Now, not as clean, but still Sandia showing up on this Zoe, being able to make all these sort of picks happen, and then just solid team fighting, solid fighting all around, and versus what I believed would be one of the top teams, which might very well be one of the top teams in Fortress. Celestial Gaming are showing that they are for sure going to be one of the top teams as well.
That's like why I am so happy right now to see Celestial play at this level, because Fortress definitely is a strong team, and you could tell a lot of times when Fortress, they were making these plays, they were making it look coordinated. They did so well, but versus Celestial, it was just too hard to find a crack in that shield that they had, just grouping together, playing as a unit, and that is just textbook League of Legends. That is showing that no matter how individually skilled you are never stronger than like your combined force as a professional team. So Celestial Gaming, hats off to you. Fortress, looking forward to seeing more of that team, as this was definitely like great level of League of Legends tonight.
And I think one of the most exciting things about this is that the previous seasons that we've had some very strong teams, but the field has not been that even. The playing field has been kind of like a few top teams, like maybe the 2 or 3 best teams have just been beating everybody else. That is not the case this season. The teams are very even. We saw Ventus, the big favorites, lose a game to Celestial Gaming. So they're still 2-0ing Fortress, who is one of the favorites for the tournament as well. So I think we've got a very even season on our hands with a lot of teams that are evenly matched.
Absolutely, and the season will continue as we have many more games coming up over these next upcoming 2 weeks. But for now, that was all that we had tonight. So thank you for watching, and please watch us again this Thursday.